All right. Welcome to day 2. We'll be dealing with the topics you have seen on the screen. Manuscript writing structures, the MRAD structure, introduction, and the method sections. We're going to deal with those today. Yesterday, we set the context. And primarily to evaluate certain aspect of the writing process. What is scientific writing? What is the motivation for writing? Why is writing important? Why do they require that I write this or I perish? And so on and so forth. So we set that context. And I went further to really motivate you and to let you know that if you have been failing in the past, it's not an excuse to continue to fail. Things can be done better, and there is a great possibility to do that. And I used the case of the British cycling team that had 100 years of failure, but with determination, painstaking activities, they were able to change the narrative and move from mediocrity to excellence. And that period that they conquered the world was known to be the most important time that the global British industry experienced a big turnaround. That was as a result of the insight and determination of a man, Dave Brailsford, and he pushed people to get the best out of them. And that is something every one of us can go through, even in our scientific writing. That's us again. So please remember to mute yourself. Remember to mute yourself. Remember to mute yourself. We are recording, so others will not think that we are so unorganized. We are very organized people, so let's not tell them that story, because it's not a nice story to hear with this nice and excellent group here. So please remember to mute yourself. My kids, I told you they are home trying to recover from this COVID. So many times they hear what I said. And yesterday I was telling you that if I hear the background noise, I will kick you out. And later on they said, Daddy, did you really do that? Did you kick people out? I said, of course I kick people out. Why not? People who don't listen to what I said, I'll kick them out. So if you don't listen, then I will kick you out. Then you have to come back again. By the time you come back again, we'll have treated several things. And then you begin to say, can you go back to this? You see, it's not palatable to be kicked out. So if you don't want to kick out, just keep our recording nice, and so that other people who listen to it or watch it will know that we were actually very serious people. Anyway, that's by the side. Good morning to all those who are just coming. You can use the chat listen to say hello to your African brothers and sisters. All right. So Dave Brailsford made a turnaround And the question to you is, can I make a turnaround? There are many stories you can tell of people who have made a turnaround in their career. I am one of those. My story of my growth from my childhood until now, I still remember. And when I sit you down, I tell you my story. Oh, goodness me. Unless you are stubborn to failure, you're stubborn to go through failure. If I tell you my story, you will be inspired to know that there is really nothing you cannot do once God is by your side. Okay? If God is by your side, you can conquer the world. A few weeks ago, we had a leadership training organized by my university. Goodness me, that training was frightening. It was frightening because I've attended leadership trainings, but this one was different. Two of my colleagues came back from, they cried, literally cried in that training. It was a passionate training. It was a training that got things out of you. And so they announced that we will go for this leadership training. And this guy, he developed a strategy. And this strategy, he said he had not used it before in his training. And so he interviewed every one of us. So we are group leaders in our various areas of research. So he interviewed us, first of all, before the training, a few months before the training, had session with each person to understand, who are you? How do you implement leadership? What do you do? Your daily activities, and so on and so forth. So he got this information from us, okay? And then he took that into account in preparing his curriculum. And then another email came after some time that now I have looked at what you have said and then trying to customize this training to you people, but I want to take one other step. Who is that?
Come up with
those who just arrived now said, if you don't meet, I will kick you out. Then you join again. By the time you join again, we have gone far. So this guy sent email and he said he wants to interview every member of our research groups without you there. So he will interview every member one by one to ask the member who you are, what you're doing, your strength from your own observation of this kind. What is his strength? What are his weaknesses? What do you not like? Goodness me. It's like taking people to gather to gossip about you. So he said, give me access to your group members. Let me have their emails and I will talk to them. Oof. Wow. Everybody had code leg, but we did it because we really want to change, to become better people. And then he interviewed every member of our research groups. You know what that can mean. And so they told what they told, and then he transcribed what they have told him. Everything without mentioning who said what. But of course, if you know your group members very well, you'll be able to identify the voices, isn't it? And so he transcribed this and he sent to the PIs. And we got this transcription. And he sent it 2 days before the course. He said, we are going to discuss the interview with your group members. Who is that? Some people still have their this thing on, not muted. Okay, so we're going to discuss that. Wow, it's not easy. Well, we went to the course, and this guy was really very bold. We had this classroom, and then he had a seat, 2 seats in front of the classroom. 1 seat was for him, 1 seat was for the PIs. So we took turns. You come out and you sit on that seat. And on your back is a presentation. So he shows the slide of the presentation, and what is there? What your group members said about you. So you're sitting there. He has a printed copy he has given to you. And on your back is a presentation. So everybody in the class was seeing what your group members said about you. And then you're sitting on that seat. And he's the one talking to you in interview. He said, now, Bright, react to what they said. Is that who you are? Goodness me. Oof. You know, it's always good to let people see you with their own eyes. 2 of my colleagues broke down and cried. But they didn't cry because something bad was said about them. They cried because, you know, for many people, this is the first time you're getting into a stage where you are looking at yourself based on what people have said. It was really a very fantastic experience, I must say. A fantastic experience. But now, why I'm telling you this is I started by saying that, telling you my story. There's something he said, I mean, my group member said about me that I have not actually paid attention. And he said that this guy, there's something they said, and each member of his group repeated the same thing. And so he was now trying to ask me, Bright, how did you get to this point, this particular characteristics? How did you get to develop this particular characteristics that has and is influencing your leadership in the right direction? Oh no. Then it was there I started thinking, because I know my story. I know my story of how I have metamorphosed to this level. I know. Then I took them through a journey of my story, a journey of my life, what I have gone through. And that is why, as I am, by the grace of God, there is no mountain that I'll be afraid of. I want to conquer. And that can be your story after this week. You know, I was a mediocre writer, but from now on, I am moving forward as an excellent writer. That is what I desire that we get from here. Let that story be a story of persuasion that change. I remember the coordinator of that course, after our session, she came to me. She said, Bright, I want to drive you in my car. Can you come in? And I went in. She was saying, you know, I have known you, but I didn't know this side of you. What you were saying, I didn't know. This is fantastic. Have you considered writing a book about yourself? I said, wow. He said, honestly, if you do that, believe me, many people will read that book, because there is certain things that, you know, that are unique with what you have said. That was a very good testimony, really, to hear. But that is my story. That is my story. And many stories, many times you create them. You have that consciousness to create a change that is lasting. And sometimes you are doing things without having a consciousness. You're working hard to really go to excellence. And then the stories begin to form themselves. Let this week be your week of transformation in scientific writing. Okay? Scientific writing. So yesterday we talked about how a history of a team was changed from mediocrity, from bottom of the ladder to the top. And not just to the top, but maintain it and maintain it and maintain it. So focus on that. Focus on that. And I think will all be happy for it. Africa will be happy for it. Your institution will be happy for it. Your mentees and those you supervise will be happy for it, because you have the tools now to push them to excellence as well. All right. We talked about several other things: precision, clarity, brevity. We talked about habit for scientific writing. And I hope these points were well taken by you. I don't know if you have any questions before group one will give us their nugget. Any question arising from the points we addressed yesterday, or other point you think around this course you want to clarify or you want to say something, please just raise your hand, then I will call you. And for those who are still leaving their mic on and disturbing us, before you came, we are saying that I will kick you out if you disturb us. Just mute yourself until it's time for you to speak. So if you want to say something, just raise your hand, then I will let you speak. Any question? Any thoughts to bring up? I hope group one is ready to give us their nuggets. Any question from the point we made yesterday? All right, group one, please. Let us know what you have. Let me know if you want to show your slide or if you just want to speak. Then if you want to show your slide, I will stop sharing.
Okay. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning. Good morning, you.
Yeah, this is Leah. I want to share the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Would you please let me?
Yeah.
Thank you. So can you please see it?
Yeah. Are you going to, sorry, Leah, are you going to present these 12 slides in 3 minutes, I said?
Yeah, I will try my best.
Oh yeah, try your best. 3 minutes, I will stop you. Just be succinct and direct to the point.
All right. We are group one. Do you see it?
Yeah, we are in the second slide now. We didn't get the topic of your paper.
The topic of our paper was to summarize the 10 rules.
10 rules for getting published, is it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was 10 rules for getting published. And the rules number 1, we say read many papers. Yeah. If you want to write a paper and publish it, you need to read the other people's articles so that you can understand what is going on. So the more you read, the more you will understand what works and what doesn't work. And rules number 2, you need to clarify your objectives. Become more objective view of your own work. The more objective you can be about your work, the better that work will ultimately become. Rules number 3, so sound editors and reviewers will give your research work unbiased quality reviews. So remember to address fundamental errors in your manuscript before submission, as this may not be corrected by the best of editors and reviewers. In rule number 4, the best paper are those ones written in simple, easy to understand, and use the good English. So to limit the paper rejection and slow publication rate of submitted papers in journal, learn to write in clear, good English by taking lessons the English language. So rule number 5, learn to accept rejection because you are not the first person to experience rejection. Do not do the major revision addressing every point they make in both your cover letter and obvious revision to the next. In rule number 6, there is some ingredients of good science, research topic, comprehensive coverage of relevant literature. Good data, use good data, good analysis, include strong statistical support through provoking discussion, good organization, appropriate use table figures, etc. In rule number 7, begin writing when the problem is identified. This will help in identifying the scope of work and hypothesis. Remain concise and precise in your writing. Understand the author guide and the role of editors. In rule number 8, begin reviewing early in your career. Helps in writing better paper, work with the mentor and read their final works they have published or intending to. In rule number 9, try to publish your paper. Look at the pre-submission inquiry system for many journals, including specific one. In the last rule number 10, try to publish a paper. It is better to publish one paper in a quality journal than to publish multiple papers in less journals. The quality journal not only increase the impact of your papers, but are being used by tenure committee and employers to define metrics for quality of your work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Leah. That's fantastic. And then you hit your time well. That's great. All right. Any thoughts from anyone on this? Any question? Any questions? Any thoughts? Who is disturbing us? Yeah, Nuha?
Yes.
Please
morning.
go ahead. Yes, please.
Yeah. My question is rule number 3. I couldn't get it well.
Yeah, Leah, rule number 3. What do you have there?
In rule number 3,
yeah, go ahead, Leah.
Hello, do you hear me?
We hear you, but it seems you have lots of background noise, eh?
I'm sorry. I'm at work, maybe that's it. So
okay.
In rule number 3, we say that remember to address fundamental errors in your manuscript before submission, as this may not be corrected by the best of editors and reviewers. We say also the sound editors and reviewers will give your research work unbiased quality reviews. Yeah,
that is important, Leah. And Nuha, what he's saying there is that, you know, if you have attended, Leah, please, if you can just mute, so that.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, thanks. So if you attended the systematic review course we run, or the reproducibility in scientific research, which hopefully we'll bring up in January. Those who have not attended it, this is a very fundamental research course. I think those who have attended it can testify to that. It's very fundamental. If you have attended those courses, then the point there is that discover that even when a paper is published in the toppest journals in the world, doesn't mean that those papers are without any challenge or problem or errors. They are there. So rule number three is saying that sound editors will give your paper an unbiased review, but you have to be careful yourself to check that you don't rely on the editor to do your work. You have to ensure that what you have is clear, is sound, because it can still escape the editors who are sound. It's not everything they'll pick up in your paper. Okay, so make sure you do that. Do your homework first. I think that is the bottom line here. Okay, Zara.
Yeah, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I have, just a slight issue. They made a point about avoiding publishing in low quality journal and aiming for the higher quality one. But the acceptance rate in the higher quality one, the rejection rate, sorry, is very high. And you will take your time trying to submit to them so that you can get published in a quality journal that will give you some recognition internationally. But you find out that it takes a lot of time. And you're trying to get your chair in the university and waiting for high published journals. So your mates end up being people publishing in low quality journals, get their remunerations and their promotions, and you are just waiting for high quality journals. Most of the African universities don't recognize the stature of the high quality journal that you are waiting to publish in.
So what is your bottom line? Is that right? Is it that you should continue to publish in low quality ones, or?
No, I'm just bringing out a conflicting issue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that even if you want to do high quality work, the system here doesn't support it. When you submit for promotions on few high quality journals, you won't get your points.
Okay.
So as an African researcher, what do you do?
As an African researcher?
Yes, what do you do?
Yeah, so now, is there anyone who wants to help Zara to answer that question, so that it's not, now I am not working in Africa, so that it doesn't look like I'm giving you idea from here. So anyone who wants to help to address that before I can come in? I see many hands, but I will come to you. Anyone who wants to answer this question? What do you do?
Yes, can I speak, Doctor?
Is that Olanyika, eh?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Yeah, good morning in the house. Yes, what the last speaker raised is a germane issue, it's a serious issue in Africa. I was even thinking it's majorly in Nigeria. Now, what I myself, as a person, I've decided is, yes, I have two goals now. One is in the immediate, and another is for the long term. For the immediate, yes, I will see how I can please my employer here in Nigeria, in Africa, see to the best of my knowledge, even publish good works in those low quality journals in quotes, while also I have the work I'm targeting to publish in the high impact factor journals for international recognition, not necessarily now for my local university or Nigerian stuff. For example, now and that comes more by collaboration. We have a particular work we're doing on COVID-19. The work took us almost a year to work on, but I was not targeting it for promotion. That they ask you, okay, this year, what have we done? We spent over 1 year on it with collaborators from Ghana, from US, from Nigeria, and all the places. But on the long run, the work was just accepted by iScience, which is a Q1 journal. But if I was so much concerned that, okay, within this 1 week, 1 year, I want to publish at least 2 articles here and there, I wouldn't, meet up with that. So while I was doing that, we were doing that meticulously, other little works here and there, we are also going on. So my approach to it is do some work that you can publish in the local journals and codes that, however, let it also be something very okay, while you are also aiming for the big journals, not necessarily to meet your immediate purpose. Thank you. I wouldn't know whether you get what I'm trying to
Yeah,
pass
just hold on. I get the point you're making. So what makes you to send your paper to a big journal and to a small journal? What makes you to make that decision?
Yes, like the other speaker was saying, of course, I wouldn't want to remain to remain stagnant because I'm not able to meet up with my university what we call it, the yardstick for promotion. I wouldn't want to do that because all those have psychological effects also on you. But again, I want to be internationally recognized. I want to make my voice heard. I want to be part. I mean, what distinguishes a Nobel laureate winner from me? They are all, you know, they are biochemists like me. They went to the same university. They grew up the same way. So, I mean, I should also be able to get out there.
Yeah,
so that's my
but my question is, what makes you to make that decision to publish in top journal and then make a decision to publish some papers in small local journal, as you call it? What informs that decision?
Maybe I didn't get your question, or maybe what you're trying to ask me is what we distinguish the kind of paper I publish.
No. What I'm saying is that you said some papers you will submit to local journals, and some, because you want to publish in high impact factor journals, you submit to internationally recognized journals.
Okay.
And I'm asking you, why do you send some papers to low quality journals and some to high quality journals? That's my question.
Okay. Now, the time of review for those high impact factor journals are quite long. There is a paper we've sent out for almost 6 months. You are yet to hear anything. But in the university journals here and the other little quality journals here, I mean, within 6 weeks, you should have gotten a response from the editor. You should have made an editor. You should know, to an extent whether your work will be accepted. Of course, it should have undergone some review.
Okay.
You understand? So
I get your point.
They don't necessarily keep your work for long. For example, I was sent a paper to review, and within 1 week, I review. I sent to the editor.
I get your point.
I mean,
I get your point. Okay. Let's go to Elizabeth. You want to ask a question here?
Thank you, Prof. Mine, actually, I have a question, but also I wanted to say something on the high impact journal. What I'm seeing now, yes, we are trying to strive on how to write a good papers and publish them. But again, I see the challenge in publishing because now it comes the issue of publishing it in a high impact journal. And I think that is also another challenge that we would like to look at it, and even if possible, you can address something, because looking at the publishing process is not something that is for free. It needs as well the budget for that. But not only that, so if we are trying to raise up the issue of pattern writing and publish, is there something that you can tell us as the coming up scientists on these issues of impact, publishing in the high impact journal?
Well,
is it, I think that one will give us a talk,
Yeah. Well, I think the African Science Frontiers Initiatives, ASFI, we are planning a particular program next year. So please watch out for that. And that program is, we want to have monthly lunchtime tip and tricks to be successful scientists. Monthly lunchtime tips and tricks. We are going to cover very arrays of topics through the year, in which we are going to give you some tips and tricks to succeed. Now, it is not too far from what we have been doing. Perhaps you have not really captured you have not captured the virus of ASFI. Some of you have not captured the virus of ASFI. And I want to announce it here. If you want to take your career to the next level, join ASFI. I mean, consciously, intentionally, plan for it to join ASFI programs. Those who have done it have come back to give some testimonies. For instance, when we finish the grant writing application, I have at least 2 of the colleagues who came to that program who have gotten grant. One of them in a very prestigious international grant. We gave support in that. After the course, we established a mentoring program, and that person has been able to skate through that. And one of them also has gotten other grants too. So the point I'm making here is that we are not giving you theories. We want to make things happen. We want to change your narrative. We want to push you to a level you become excellent, not only for yourself, for your institution, and for those who are under you to push. So what we are doing here, if you want to get published, what Leah has given is they have listed a number of things you need to do. And those are some of the things we are dealing with this week. I don't see, if you're doing good science, who is making that? Let me see. Justo Santos, can you mute yourself before I kick you out? How many times have I announced it? Is Justo there? Goodness me, it's not even listening. It's not. All right. So the point I'm making is that these courses we have planned, if you come to the grant writing course, you improve in your grant writing. If you come to scientific writing course this week, we want to push you to improve in your scientific writing. If you come to the reproducibility course, we'll push you to do science in a better way. If you come to the semantic review course, we push you to have a systematic approach to dealing with your questions. Okay? So these different courses have their direction, but eventually coming together, they help you to become a better person. I don't see the reason why you finish this course this week and you go back to remain at the same level you have been without improvement of your writing skills. And so I can decide to publish in African Journal. I can decide to publish anywhere, but let that decision not be because I didn't do it well. Let that decision be, okay, I want to publish this paper here. But after this course, I desire that you can aim to publish as far as you have done your science, your research well, according to the principles outlined. You can publish that paper anywhere you want to publish it. You can send it to anywhere. But to have a quality work, Yinka, I know there is that pressure we discussed yesterday. Some of you are still working on it, publish or perish, and you're dealing with that. And so your institution want to make sure that you get what is due to you. So it's not the quality they're counting the number. Well, we need to move the direction of not just numbers, but quality. Because as you have highlighted, Justo Santos, I kicked you out before you came in and you have not muted yourself. So please remember to mute yourself. And so please make sure you are aiming to do your science well, write well. And then it's clear you can aim to publish. There are many people who are in Africa who are publishing top journals in the world. That is the fact. As far as they have the trainings and then they have the recipes for doing it well, and they just play. So don't make a decision of publishing top journal or low journal because, you know, I want to get it fast in the local journal. So the top ones are taking too much time. And man, that decision is, you are really selling off. Because if you have an important message for the international community, international scientific community, then why do you leave it at local level there? Because you want to get promotion? No, focus on the science. If you focus on the science, the rewards will come. You know, many people sometimes, oh, where you are abroad, you're in Sweden, yours is good though, yours is good. Huh? I said, well, you don't know what is there. You know, when you reach a level, then the standards are so high that sometimes it becomes frightening. You ask yourself, can I move really from here? Can I move from here? Yeah, if you put your effort, you can succeed anywhere. Okay? And if I, for instance, I go back to my country, the level I am today, I will not be that level. I will go a higher level because my experience will be able to help me to do that, you know. But regardless of wherever you are, put in your best to do things in the right way, and the results will come. The results will come. I have a project I have with a group of people. That project, this is the second time we are updating that project. So I brought in a group of people who are helping me in that project. And I told, I was joking to them. I said, this project will sell you, or this project will make you popular. And they're laughing, but it's true. Because when I first published that paper several years ago, that is about close to 10 years now, when I first published it, goodness me, after I published it, oh, due to the stuff in that paper and the citation it brought, people knew me. People knew me. I mean, knew me from my paper without knowing me from my face. At that time, I was living in Finland, and I remember I went to a conference to speak about this. And then after I finished speaking, and one man came to me on the stage, and he said, oh, Dr. Waro, congratulations, a nice speech you have made. But you know what? When I saw you're coming from Finland, I didn't know that. So are you Finn? You know the direction he was going. And then I asked him, what do you think? You know, and we burst into laugh. But he was surprised that this was actually a Black African man. Okay? Let your work speak for you. And I tell you, it crosses boundaries. Don't be comfortable the level you are. Don't be comfortable. That's what I've been shouting this morning. See how much time I'm taking to make this thing here. Goodness me, I need you to catch that fire. I need you to catch that fire that push you to, whether you are in Lokoja in Nigeria, whether you are what is it called, in Tanzania, whether you are in Kenya, Nairobi, wherever you find yourself, be excellent. That is what ASFI is all about. Let's have the soldiers that come from the training we offer here. We shout to the African community, we have found what we need. This is what we need to go. That's why we are bringing it to you. And so don't live here and you say, well, yeah, I had a nice training. It was really nice. Oh, nice talks. I met nice colleagues. Then you remain where you are. No, we have not achieved our goal, and we don't want to have such kind of situation. I hope you all agree with what I'm saying here. You can give a thumbs up there if you really support what I'm saying here. Let's have a group of soldiers from these trainings we have that can change the narrative of what is happening in our continent. What is happening in our continent? Be excellent, and there are people who are doing it. I know people who are doing it from Africa. Let your story be one of those stories. Let your story be one of those stories. So, aim high. Submit to the international journals. Let them give you their comments. Don't go and you sit in the back of your office, say, please, you write a note, no disturbance, and you're sitting there crying because your paper was rejected. This is the 5th time they are rejecting this paper. What's wrong with these journals? These people, they don't even understand. This 10th time. The question is, what did they say that you need to improve? Learn from it. Improve, improve, improve. I tell you, the trajectory you will go, you will receive invitations. You'll be known in the international community as somebody who is doing excellent work. That's what I want. Yes, I have, who is that? Chukwemeka.
Yeah, good morning, Prof.
Yeah, please.
Thank you very much for what you are doing. I think this is like a clinic. It's a social clinic, apart from the science that you are inculcating into us. I think part of the problem that we have with academics is that a lot of academics are very greedy people. That is part of the problem that we have. It may not just be that the institutions have set their target, this is what you should do to get promoted, but on our own part, a lot of us are very greedy and like cutting corners. The reason why I am still in this program is that it's like you are washing me, washing me to come to the standard of what life should be. Because what we see around us is all greediness, emptiness. That's what we see. So a lot of academics like cutting corners. They don't like to do the right thing. All that they aim at is that it doesn't matter what I do. Even if I kill somebody, let me become a professor. Once I become a professor, every other thing is over. And it's not yet, it doesn't get over, even when the person becomes, gets to the position that he or she is looking for. So I think what you are doing for us, for those who can understand, that you are just washing us, so that we can understand, we can look in and know. There is nothing wrong for anybody to aim high, do a quality work and, reap the good things of quality work. But in our real settings, in our academic settings, that is not so. What we like is greediness, emptiness, and that's what sells. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Doc. It's good that you're catching the fire. And I'm sure many others are catching the fire. Yes, you call it washing, baptism. That is great. That is great to hear. It means that we're achieving our goal. You see, it says that it's good to have like minds. Several years back, I went to a conference in France. And then I met this Nigerian professor who came there. So I was discussing with him and I was asking him, how are you doing? How is research going there? Well, the first thing he did was to take a deep breath and sigh. My brother, NEPA does not even allow us to do research. NEPA, where do you see light to do research? I laughed. Goodness me. Oh, goodness me. Oh, no. And the thing is that if you take another professor and you ask the same question, you get a different answer. So you have different answers that eventually shows that we can't move forward. People have already decided that we can't move forward because there are things holding us. Okay. But really, will you accept this young group of people attending this course here? Will you allow yourself to accept those excuses as part of the things that make you not to succeed? If you allow that, then there's a problem. It means that it's hopeless. But in ASFI here, we're trying to tell you that, it's possible. It's just possible. You can do it. You can make it from wherever you are. And this training is brought to you to where you are. And so will you decide that, well, I can't make it? No, make a different decision. Make a different decision to make a difference. Young ones doing PhD or wherever, make a decision that this career I have taken, I will do my best. I'll be excellent. I will change the world. I will change where I am. You see, don't be in a hurry. Many times the problem we have is that we're in a hurry, want to be professors, want to be this, want to be that, you're in a hurry. Oh, well, you know, I told you about the leadership course. When I was brought in front there, and this guy was asking me, how did you get there? And one thing I said to him, and I always tell people that I am one of the worst scientists you can meet. I'm one of the worst scientists you can meet. And the issue is that I don't go about to say, oh, I have to publish in Nature, I have to publish in Science, I keep pushing my group members to no, I don't do that. I don't do that. The first thing I do, and that is my strategy, is to make people better people. I challenge you. It's good that Dr. Wigwe has recognized this, that I'm watching you. I challenge you. And some of those in my group who understand my intentions, I see them growing and I laugh. Sometimes I'm teaching my course. I invite my PhD students to come and teach in my course. Why? Some of them I have trained have become better than me. And that gives me joy. And so I don't go about, I want to get this, I make people better people. I first of all make them human beings, because science lives in the human being, not in human being living in the science. So if you make the human being better, that science will come out. And this kind, even my colleagues who are there say, wow, this is not the way we have been thinking about it. I say, yeah. That is why I said I am in the standard of the world. Talk about science. I am one of the worst, because I cross convention. And if you stay with me, two things will happen to you. Is either you run away because you don't want to change, or you remain, become a better person. Either of those two things will happen to you. Ask those who have been close to me, then they will tell you that is what happens. So that is what I'm trying to push forward here, to see how you can catch fire. Yes, Marion is saying here, patience pays, and we have patience in the group here. Patience can testify to her name. I hope patience is patient. Okay, let's aim for excellence. Let's do it, and then you see the results will come. The results will come. The result will come. There is no doubt about that. I have been in the system. I know how it works. The result will come. Once you pursue excellence, once it begins to strike, you'll be amazed. Say, wow, how this is happening? Yeah, because people have recognized you and they want to collaborate with you. They want to collaborate with you. And you're talking about papers. Papers will be coming up. As I am today, I say no to many papers because I don't have time to contribute. Believe me, I say no to many papers. Oh, please come, let's contribute. Oh, goodness me. They're coming here and there. Why? Build your track record first, and then you see what happens. Build your track record first. You see what happens. It will surprise you. All right. I think we'll have discussed this quite a lot. I have spent time doing it because I know that is what many of you need. Perhaps not all of you, but that is what many of you need, to have this conversation that gives you the persuasion to move forward. And when you take it up, you'll find out that it's great. Okay. All right. Yeah, group one has given us your nuggets. Please, if you have your mic open, please just mute. Just mute. It's not good to kick you out in this nice talks we're having here. You see what is on the screen? So what is on the screen? A small daily task, if it be really daily, we beat the labors of a spasmodic heckles. Anthony Trollope. That is all I have said this far. That is all I have said. Ewura Abena, can you mute yourself? Thank you. Ewura, can you mute yourself?
Yes.
Thank you. A small daily task. You see, many times we want to parachute ourselves to the mountains. You want to parachute yourself to the mountain, but you don't know how the track of the mountain. You just want to go top there. But I tell you, it's sweeter, better, at least to try going to the mountains through the tracks, climbing it. Get the sweat, get the challenges on the way. Get it, and then you come down. You see, it's only someone who has gone to the end of a journey and come back would be laughing when the young one I say, I can do it, I will go and no problem. You laugh because you know how it looks. You can call the young man and say, you know what? There is a junction. If you're going this way, there's a junction there that is called a junction of troubles. When you get there, this is what you will do. So don't run. So you have to go with wisdom, and that wisdom comes by painstakingly, gradual process, getting there, patience, getting there. So if it really be daily, we beat the labors of the Superman. Make it daily. You're right to make it daily. Make it daily. Think about it. I've given you some strategies yesterday, and I'm working on the forest. I sit down. The ideas come. I sit down. I write them down. I don't leave them in my brain. And so I will write. No. You forget. You are writing and you get to a point. It's not coming. Leave it and move out. Move out. Do other things. Play with your kids. Take them to the park. Run around. Take fresh air. Don't say you must kill that elephant. I will. You see you. And then you begin to command and pray. No, don't do that. Leave it and come back. Then you see, it's a process. You have to develop your own process, how it works in you that get the best out of you. All right. We defined this yesterday. Scientific writing, the process of effectively communicating the results of scientific research and the processes that led to obtaining those results. That is what scientific writing is. But you know what? It's not just this. You look at this. Okay, this. But you know, it requires a storyline that is clear and understandable by readers. So when you are trying to write, Shiva, can you mute, please? Thank you. So when you are trying to write as a scientist, one of the problems many scientists have is that they don't put themselves in the context of the writing. When you put yourself in the context of the writing, what happens is that you are writing with the reader in mind, not yourself. You are thinking about the reader. And you ask a question, would they understand this? What does this mean to the reader? If I put myself in the position of the reader, the one receiving it, is it clear? You have to go through self-scrutiny when you write. You have to go through self-scrutiny. So that process of effectively communicating is quite important. Let it be a story, a nice story. Somebody hosts it. He wants to finish it. Oh, wait, I'm coming. Just give me a few minutes because of what you have written. but not, the person is reading it, the person is giving a very big yawn. The person is getting tired, sleep is coming. And the person wakes up, he doesn't know what he has read, can't remember or where he stopped. So it needs to be sweet, communicated very well. Okay, in front of you, part of a scientific research paper. These are the parts. You have the title. Many times, many journals say you should write their long title, short title, or they call it running title. You have the place for the authors and the affiliations and correspondence, the journal that you're submitting to will correspond with, or readers of your paper can come back to if they have questions. You have the abstract. You have the keywords. If you see the title and abstract, I have put them at the end of this course because usually they are the things you write at the end. Those who have gone through the grant writing course will still remember this. It's not that you cannot have a title you are starting with to build on, but it's easier. And by the time you finish the paper, your mind is clear. And so you can have a clear title that brings out the story of your paper. And the abstract is a miniature version of your paper. That's what the abstract is. So the abstract is better to write at the end of the paper when you have all these structures. And then in the main paper itself, you have introduction, methods, results, discussion, acknowledgement, references, tables, and figures. All right. Is it familiar to everybody, or is that something else you think is missing here? Because you come from different cultures, but across cultures of the scientific discipline, these things will usually be there. All right, manuscript structures. People have really thought about it. If you read some of the papers written in the 1800s, 1900s, the 19th centuries, 18th centuries, and even some part of 20th centuries, you will discover how it is written. You know, people just write it anyhow. They want no particular structure. And then they sign their signature. But as time passed by, there was the recognition that we need to really have a standard so that, you know, people don't go and put the results elsewhere. You're looking for it, you know, just have a standard so that it's clear. So structures started coming in. And what the structures are actually to give you a compass to go through that paper, okay? To go through the content of the paper. Readers may be interested in knowing your methods or your experiment, what you have done. And because you have a structure that indicates where you have that information in the method section, they go directly to that part to see what you have done there. Okay? Or they may be interested in your research question or your aim, and they go directly to the introduction because that is where it's found. They may be interested in knowing what you have found in your study. They have the results section and they just go there straight. They may want to know what your findings mean. And they have the discussion section where you discuss those issues. So the structures that are there are like a compass that helps the reader to identify aspects that they're interested in knowing. Not every reader will want to read all the paper. When I get papers to review or as an editor, the first place I go Who can guess where is the first place you should go? I can tell you the first place I go, but where do you think is the first place to go? The first place to go. Anyone? Yeah, Olayinka, please.
Yeah, to me, is the abstracts I go to first, where you give me the summary of everything. Thank you.
Summary, yeah. Yeah, but beyond the abstract. Yeah, the decay.
I actually look into the introduction. Because it gives me an overview and I can see the objective of the work.
Great.
I'll go to the method.
The method, yeah. Okay. Yeah. The first place I do is to read the last part of the introduction where you have the aim. Okay. And once I have that, I go to the methods. If I see the method is not well done, I don't care about whatever you have written in other places. From there already I can, for instance, I submitted a review, was it early this week or so, or late last week? And I read the aims, what they wanted to do. And once I saw the aim, I went directly to the methods part. What did they do to answer this aim? And there's, well, no, you can't do this. This is, goodness me, why will you do this? And you're making this claim that the first time we're trying to, no. So the method gives you lots of information because it tells you what was done. What was done. The results mean nothing. The results mean nothing. The discussion mean nothing in terms of knowing the quality of the study. It is what was done. The method, how did they construct that study? The results may not give the impression that is already known. Okay? The introduction may not be fantastic, but if the methods, the approach that has been used to execute that study is good, great. Other places can be amended. But regardless of how you write the introduction, the results, and how fantastically you have written the discussion, if your method is not good, then it's, putting something on nothing, really. Okay? So the structures that we have give readers a compass to navigate through getting the information they need from your paper. Okay? There are different structures, and this differ between fields, but you have the IMRAD, which is the most common people use in scientific writing. And that is introduction, methods, results, and discussion. And you also have the DM, introduction, results, discussion, and methods. There's some journals that use this. I don't know if you know this journal called Scientific Report, and some of the nature-based journals use that approach. But IMRAD is the most common, and that is the one we present, okay? Not because it's the best, but it's the most common. And of course, the items there also are available in other distance, so we'll treat those items. Take a few minutes or a few seconds to look at what is here. These are cartoons that describe the scientific writing process. The title and abstract says, with easy to find keywords, okay? Sell your paper with your abstract. Sell your paper. So the abstract is the first point of contact with somebody. After you say, okay, do I read more? Well, no, I'm not interested. So sell your paper. The abstract should sell your paper. Introduction, work on that funnel shape. Okay. The methods: provide a cookbook with the study's ingredients. Okay. Results: present findings without interpretation. Do you get that? You know, sometimes people write and they result and they write, oh, you know, this factor was associated with this, and this means that. No. The result is not a place you give your opinion of whatever. We'll come back to that later on, maybe I think tomorrow or so. The result is not a place to tell them what that means. That is not the place for the result. The result is only dedicated to report what you find as you have found it. That's all. Don't give any interpretation. The discussion is where you do that. Okay? So without interpreting. Tables and figures, make them self-explanatory. Goodness me. Huh? People can be complex. They see this word in the this word is so simple, you know. This word we live is so simple. If you live it simply, but many times people are so complicated. Goodness me. But don't tell anybody what I want to tell you now. Don't tell anybody. My sister had a task I asked her to help me to do. And this morning we had long interchange of text messages. She was telling me, oh, goodness me, I have this course to teach. I have meetings to have. I have this to do. I have this. And then she's telling me out. I said, goodness me, you see, why are you focusing on the distractions? What are you supposed to do? This is what you're supposed to do. And all you have told me is things around what you're supposed to do. You have not told me about that thing you're supposed to do. Those are distractions. Now, let's come back to square one. And to solve the problem, we have sent hundreds of messages before that. We solved the problem. It took only 2 messages from me and 2 messages from her to solve the problem. I said, okay, tap. This is what we need to do. If we do this, this is the result we'll get. But now you have taken this route. And then she came back to me. Oh, thank you. I am sorry for bringing the distractions. You can see how much we have gone through all this. Oh, looking at this word in a complicated, this word is simple. Let's leave it simple. In your figure, don't make your figure so complicated. People can be complicated. That can make life boring. That can put your reviewers off. Put them off. So let's be simple. And then discussion, be frank in acknowledging your limitations. We'll come to this point. All right. We'll take a break, but I want to finish this part before we. So please mute yourself. Great, thanks. The introduction. In my part of the world, when a man is interested in a woman and a woman is interested in a man, they have, before the marriage, they have what is called introduction. I don't know if other parts of Africa have the same thing, or they just go straight. Oh, I have come to marry your daughter. What? Who are you? I don't even know you. Yeah, I think that would be quite surprising. I think there's always introduction, regardless of how you do it. So you have to have that introduction in a paper. Okay? And what does it do? The introduction awakens the reader's interest. Oh, you didn't get that. The introduction awakens the reader. So assuming that the reader is sleeping in their interest, you give the introduction and the reader reads the introduction of your paper. He sits or she sits straight now. Wow, this is what the interest is awakened. The person wants to know more. That is the first thing introduction does. The second thing is that the introduction prepares the reader to understand the paper.
Confidence of
Who is? Please mute yourself when you come in. Mute yourself. Okay. So the introduction awakens the reader's interest. The first thing, the second thing is that it prepares the reader to understand the paper. You know, so what you are doing in introduction is to put the reader in a place that you hook the reader. the grant writing course we had, when we were talking about the EMS page, those who were there could still remember this. We had the paragraph we call, the sentence we call the hook. The hook. That sentence you use to capture the reader. And you are not there, but based on what you have written, the story you have written there, you say the reader, I am holding you, you can't go anywhere. I don't know if you have seen your writing in that way. You see, what I have written, if you read it, you can't go anywhere. I talked about passion yesterday. If you don't have passion to write, you mesmerize it. So your introduction should be a place you dedicate time and fashion an arsenal that's so addictive to the reader, and the interest is awakened, and the reader wants to know more. What does this paper have? It's like describing the opening scene in a play. Okay? Describing the opening scene in a play. Or starting a train journey. Oof. You know how the train conductor, or nowadays, they use a recorded this. What do they say? This train is leaving station A. I will give it a name. Give it a name. Station A. It was coming from station A minus. It's heading to station T. But before getting to T, we will stop at B. We'll stop at C. We'll stop at D, and so on and so forth. You can go further and say station B will stop. We stop at this particular time. And you can find this in station B. You can find this in station C. Please relax as we go on this journey. Within the train, we'll have these different coaches. Coach number 4 is the kitchen and restaurant, where we can serve you very delicious meal. We have Wi-Fi. We also have television. And there are standby conductors around. If you want any help, please contact us. What have they made your day? They have made you to relax, to expect where the journey is going. That is what introduction does. It announces where you are. It announces where you're going. It announces what you encounter. So fashion your introduction. Fashion it. If you have been writing mediocre introduction, shabby introduction before, now is a time you say, I have learned something this week. My introduction will be better. Okay. When you write your introduction well, it sets the scene for the reader. Starts by telling the reader what is happening or has happened. I mentioned it. The train was coming from station A minus. It's leaving station A. And then the introduction ends with a glimpse of what follows in the remainder of the paper. Okay? We stop at station B, C, even though we'll get to station T as the last one. the things that we have in the train. Yes. Well, I've talked a lot this morning. Let's take a 10 minutes break and continue. So let's come back at 25 minutes to the hour. 25 minutes to the hour. See you in a bit. Welcome back. Please mute yourself. Mute yourself. All right, let's move on. Okay, now let's get to the nitty-gritty of the introduction. What do you see? What do you see in front of you? What shape do you see? Let me see if anybody can get it right. Anyone wants to tell us? Yeah, Nuha? Nuha, we don't hear you.
The shape is just like a funnel or like a sieve.
A funnel, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, does anybody have a different, Frank Obi?
Yes, it's a funnel or inverted cone.
Inverted. That's what I wanted to hear. It's not enough to say a funnel. It's not enough. Yeah, the answer is given. So others, you can just bring your hand down. This is inverted. It's not just a funnel, okay? It's an inverted one. A cone, but it's inverted. It's very important to understand it in that way. It's very important to understand it in that way. It's inverted because this is a structure of the introduction. It needs to be inverted funnel, not the other way around. So it's not just any funnel. I want you to have that in your mind. So you start with the top there, background. And what does that tell you when you start with the brown top there? It tells you when you are writing the introduction, the beginning will have weather, context, and perspective. And you keep going down until you get to the point. The point. Your introduction needs to be in that way. You start with the big issues and then start going down gradually. We'll call it transition. You transit from one paragraph to the other with a conscious mindset that I'm actually going to a point, the tip of the inverted funnel. So in the introduction, you are writing. I'm not sure how you have written in the past, but you should have this point. The background, what is known, the knowledge gap, what is unknown, the question you want to address, the hypothesis you want to address, the purpose statement of your research, and then the approach, the plan of attack, the proposed solution. Can you get it? This is, if you write your introduction in this way, see, suppose, I send my paper to if you send your paper to the top journal and you have your introduction, you have a good research question, you have an introduction in this way, it is sweet. That is why I said you should have a story and tell your story. Please remember to mute yourself so that I don't kick you out. I don't like kicking people out because I know after this, my kids will ask me, did you really kick out? And they know that their dad is a nice guy. Why do you kick people out? I say, well, when it comes to a class like this, you have to kick people out who don't listening to you or disturbing other people. Yeah, I don't like kicking for her, but this one I will kick. Anyway, so you start with the background, what is known. You move to what is unknown. Then you go to your hypothesis, your question, your purpose statement, until you finish up with the approach, the plan of attack, the proposed solution. That is how the introduction is to be. And all this will be in the introduction. All right, sorry, the text on the left is somehow. But look at this now. The general topic or background. Sepsis is a major cause of morbidity and mortality in individuals who share contaminated needles. This gives a big picture, a global picture, regardless of wherever you are in the world. This is what it is. This is what it is. This is what we know. Everybody knows that. And then you go to the second part, what is unknown? No preventive treatment has been identified. Okay, we don't know. Can statins help? Animal trials suggest yes. But studies in humans are limited. Previous human trials were small, observational, with only one population-based cohort study. Can you see that? Is that not a sweet story? Yeah, it's taking you down. And once you have read the first one, the question is, so what comes next? Your mind already is taking you, what is the next? And you read the second one, and so what? You keep asking that question. And a good introduction will be answering those questions for you, really. Therefore, our aim was to assess the effect of treatment on the rate of sepsis in a prospective cohort study of individuals who had a history of sharing needles. Simple. No jargon. Some people write introduction 3 pages. Oh, goodness me. 2 pages. Oh, goodness me. Where are you writing it to? What are you? Are you the even if you are the first to do that, it's even easier to write. But people want to tell the world all they know. You have to remember the system I have said. Your introduction should be like a train leaving the station, or the introduction of a play in a theater. It should be succinct. It should be simple, direct to the point, and then answer these questions. When you get this slide, you can look at this one here as well. See, the funnel is coming, inverted cut funnel. Okay, the background aspect of the introduction. You need to begin with providing the reader with background information on the topic or the paper. Describe what is known about, for instance, the disease or technique or topic or compound and why it is important topic. Okay, make sure that the background information directly relates to your specific study. Don't go beating around the bush. Think about this funnel whenever you are doing your distance. Think about it. So the background should give a picture of what we already know on the topic. Present it. Use few sentences. Can be a paragraph. Don't write so much, but succinctly provide those background information. Okay. So that background is important. What is unknown, unmet need? Then narrow the introduction. Once you have given that global background of what we know, narrow it. Focus on the reader's attention, as I mentioned. The importance of continued research in the area. Needed information, but unknown. Unsolved problem, a knowledge gap, limitations of prior studies. You can understand that. Like they mentioned about the sepsis, the methods that have been used. Appropriate analytical technique or animal model may be lacking, for instance. The problem has gone unrecognized or a possible solution is missed. So you have to present that knowledge gap. Now, that is knowledge gap. You go to the hypothesis or your question, your aim or your objective, however you call it. It's the same thing they're providing. Narrow it further by focusing on the goal of your study. And that is the plot, what you want to bring to that evidence. From this point on, the text must provide a clear rationale for why you did this study. You test a hypothesis, answer a question, solve a problem, or fulfill a purpose. This text should include a statement that makes this clear to the reader. Okay. We have information of what is known. We have information of what is not known. So what? You need to use that opportunity to convincingly provide. This is a solution we are bringing. And so my study is focusing on this. It aims to do this, or the objective of the study is this, or we hypothesize that this is a place you sell yourself, what you are bringing. If what you're bringing is good, then sell it. Sell it so that people can understand. Okay. Can be a hypothesis, can be a question. We ask whether to answer this question. This prompted us to investigate, so you can bring it in different ways. A purpose statement, the purpose of our study was, sometimes the iteration ends after stating the question. Okay. Then approach, plan of attack, propose, solution. In this study, we asked whether study participants understood the elements of informed consent as measured by the call of. So you have to give a mini aspect of how you are addressing this. Mini, not elaborate, because in the materials and methods section, you are elaborating more on that. Somebody says it's not seeing what is on the screen. Is that?
No.
Are you all see? You can see, okay.
You can see.
So
except
please.
Maybe that, except he's saying it's tiny. Maybe that's what it means. That is
okay. Yeah, sorry. Sorry. I can't make this bigger. Some people say they can't. Oh, many can see, some cannot see. All right, so it's not my problem. It's your seeing. It's not the problem from my side. So it is seeing from that side. Anyway, let's progress. Sorry about that. Sometimes it happens. Okay, it's an example. It's an example. I have put this in your, I'll put this too in your in your, what's it called? In the Google Google Drive. Somebody is not muted. Neri, can you mute? Neri, can you mute yourself? Thank you. So I have put these two in the Google Drive. You can see it, introduction, example, or something like that, I called it. So I would send you to your, I will send you to your groups. I will send you to your groups. Okay. Then in your groups, look at these introductions, look at them carefully, and you can discuss in your group how they fit the inverted funnel structure. Okay. And once you finish that, you can use a few minutes. You can use a few minutes, 10 minutes maximum you can use to do that. Then the next thing is this. Now we start the thing while we're here. I told you from the beginning that this course is hands-on. You can't run away from that. You can sit here and listen to all these stories and nice stories I talk about, and you are motivated. Somebody said yesterday he's angry because of the point that the person wants to do well. Yeah, full with that anger, full with that passion. I give you this nice speech. It's not enough. Okay, it's not enough. So, oh goodness me. Who is that? And so you don't get everything if you just listen to this. And that is the difference we make here. At ASFI trainings and courses, we give you experience that is transformational. So the project starts now. Once we treat any part, I send you out to go and work on it. So you have your project files, you have your data you need to analyze. Now you need to go there now and start working on. So I want you to go and write your introduction for your project. And you'll be doing this until it is 5 minutes before the launch. I will call you back to allow group 2 to give us their nugget, and we'll go for lunch. And when we come back, we'll go into the methods section. Okay? So that is what we have to do now. And I hope everybody has put if you're in this course, by being accepted into this course, you should get an email I sent in which I attach a file and put you in that group. If you're in this course and you just joined your friend because your friend gave you a link, we don't accept that. Yesterday, I kicked somebody out, said, you are not permitted to join the course because it becomes cheating to the hundreds, more than 500 people who could be part of this course, but didn't get a space. So don't come through the backyard, okay? And you know, for those who are Christians, read the Bible, you know who comes from the backyard door. You need to come from the front door. And the front door is that you receive the invitation accepted to this course. If you have done that, in the email I sent, I actually attached the file for the groups in the email I sent. And then I also sent the link to the Google Drive. So you see how organized we try to be here to make sure things are easy for you, but yet there are people who still want life to be so complicated. Anyway, I can't help you so much with that. So please check your email and check the Google Drive. You will see the group you belong to. Okay, I can't do it, begin to check for everybody where you are. It's impossible. All right, I hope you have put your group number to your name so that I can send you out to your group session. So 5 minutes before lunch, I will call you back. Okay. So see you in a bit. If you have not put your group number to your name, then please do so. Otherwise, it's very difficult to send you to your group. Some of you have not done that.
Good afternoon, Prof.
Okay, welcome back. Welcome back. Yeah, I know you complained the time was short, but the time was too much this time. You will have time. You will have time this afternoon. Yeah, I know. You have time to do that this afternoon. The next part we'll be treating this afternoon will be introduction. I mean, the method section. That shouldn't take too long, and then you will have more time to engage in your work. My goal is that you will put these things into effect and practice and get it right. But now we need to finish up with the nugget for group 2, and then go on lunch break so that you get physical energy, because mentally it can be exhausting. Get physical energy to kick off again. So group 2, please give us that, then we'll go for lunch. Give us your nugget.
Okay, please want to share a screen, please.
Just go ahead.
Okay.
Please remember to mute yourself if you're.
Yeah. Can you see the screen, please?
Yeah, we see that. So put it on presentation mode.
Okay. Oh.
Down on the right side. You see something that looks like a cup. Just click it.
Okay.
No, looks like a cup. No, the next one. Yeah,
okay.
Just click
that. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so our topic is actually from the document given to us, 10 simple empirical rules for writing science. And this is a work done by 3 scholars from different departments, but from the same university. And the work was published in 2015. And the aim of the study to find out whether recommendations made by writers for abstract writing do increase or reduce citations at the long run of any scientific writing. So the authors focus on reviewing common norms in writing scientific abstracts, of which they conducted a retrospective study in which over 1 million abstracts from 8 different academic disciplines were analyzed within the span of 17 years. The features they analyzed are these, which are being recommended, of which they look into each of them. They look into this recommendation of keeping an abstract short. Just like we have in some journals, they will give limit of words to be accepted in any given abstract for a paper. And they talk about, or they also look into this recommendation of keeping it compact, avoiding compound sentences and the rest of them. and also talking about keeping it simple, using words that anybody, whether I'm in the sciences and I happen to write it, people in the social sciences or the arts can equally understand, things like that, and using present tense, that some journals so emphasize this, that present tenses be used so that even non-native speakers can understand, and also some go with the view that let's avoid adjectives and abstracts in order to avoid ambiguity and the rest of them. And some said, let there be focus. When you're writing abstract, go straight to the focus of that study or that paper, the significance, the justification for that, go to that straight. And also—
1 minute more, 1 minute more, Luca. Yeah,
okay.
1 minute more.
So all of this, as you can see on the screen, but the interest here is actually about the findings. So there are findings is that among the findings that applying these rules as stated above influences the number of citations, and that the outcome is the same irrespective of discipline, that it influences it, even though it may be in different directions. And also that with brevity and clarity, which usually result in shorter abstract, fewer words and sentences consistently lead to fewer citations. Writing an abstract with fewer common or easy words result in more citations, and that the use of the present tense is beneficial in disciplines such as biology and psychology, while it has a negative impact in disciplines like chemistry and physics and the rest of them. And therefore, they concluded that the abstract should be explicit and insightful enough to capture the essence of one's research. Thus, keeping it simple and unambiguous is key. Thank you.
Great, great. So since you were emphasizing keeping it simple, short, I wanted that also to reflect in your presentation, and I think you did a good job to get that across. So these are some of the things we have taught so far. It's good to repeat it so that those who are having network problem, you wouldn't say, I didn't hear that when he said that. You have heard it from my mouth, you hear it from the mouth of other people. So please, as you go to your lunch, think about these things, how you can improve. This emphasis, I think, will help you to continue to assimilate. So let's meet at 1 o'clock, my own time, West Central African time. GMT is 12 o'clock, Ghana time. South African time, maybe 2 o'clock or so, and then we'll continue. See you in a bit. Let's move on. And now you had extract time, isn't it? But I know it wasn't still enough. Even though some of you did not still go for your lunch, you remain there. Let's quickly go through the section now, and I'll send you back again so that you continue. All right, group 3, are you ready with your nuggets?
Yes, we are, sir.
Okay, great. And then group 4, get ready, because after the short introductory, methods part I will treat here, you have to present your own part. Group 4, your nuggets for today. So group 3, please go on, and group 4, get ready.
Okay, so I'm trying to share my screen, sir.
Do so, please.
Prof, can you see it, sir? Is it up?
Yeah, you can see that.
Is it on presentation mode?
No, not yet.
Okay. It should be now. I don't know. Is it on presentation mode, sir?
Not yet. I think it takes some, but you can, is it on your side?
Yes, it is on my side.
It's not yet.
Should I stop sharing and reshare?
Yeah, you can share. You can stop sharing and reshare again.
Okay, sir. Let me do that. Stop and how is it, sir?
Not still on presentation, but you can go on. I think we can manage that. If it comes up, it comes up. If not, we.
Oh, okay, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ade, and I'll be presenting our nugget on behalf of Group 3. The title of our nugget is Steps of Structuring a Scientific Paper for Publishing. And as a form of introduction, the paper we read is titled 11 Steps to Structuring a Science Paper Editors Will Take Seriously. And this was put together by Angel Bojar. So this current slide, it shows the 11 steps, a glance, at a glance, the 11 steps that are required in the preparation of a manuscript, and subsequent slide will be going into the details of each of these points that has been projected. So step 1, preparing figures and table, and then the figures and table.
Have you moved to, sorry, have you moved to the next slide?
Yes, sir, I'm on the 3rd slide.
Oh, we're not getting, we just on the first slide.
Wow, what's happening? What's happening?
Do you have, does any of your group members have that? Maybe the person can try to share.
Maybe they can use the inverted cup that the way you have advised the other person.
Yeah, I know she has tried it, but it's not working.
I stopped and I shared again, but it wasn't. I'm surprised. And every other document is closed on my system. I just have this.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, share your entire screen. What is happening is that
I've lost you.
I've lost him too.
So what do I do, Prof? I don't want you to cut us.
Does any of your group members have this?
Share your entire screen.
Okay, that's what I did. So let me stop and share again. That was what I did, sharing entire screen.
So the one I have is an edited version. I don't know if there's anybody from our group who has the edited version.
Okay. I have the edited. Prof, is it okay now? Or it's still not?
No, it's not. It's still the way, some way.
That's strange.
Can you share on the main page, our WhatsApp, so that we can try and see if we can share?
And okay.
And also resume slideshow.
It is. I stopped sharing and I selected the windows I want to share. That was what I did. And so I'm trying to, let me close it up. Wow. Prof, I'm sorry for the delay. I'm trying to share with that.
So is somebody sharing it?
Yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to share on our WhatsApp platform so that someone can get it. I have the edited version. So
you can send it to me on the chat box here. So let me see.
Okay, to see if you can present for me.
If I can share it from here.
Okay, sir. Okay. Okay, so I've shared it on our platform. I'm sharing it on the chat box now. Okay. I've sent it, Prof.
Okay.
You sent. Have you seen it, sir?
Yeah, just a minute.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. So, Prof, I shouldn't bother to share.
Just let me see if this works here.
Okay, sir. I've also
Please,
sent it
I've
to
sent
my
on
group.
the chat.
Yes. I've sent to my group member.
All right. So let me share from here. Is it clear?
Yes, it is, sir.
Okay. So you were here?
Yes, sir. I was talking about step 1, how it is the most efficient way to present the driving force of the paper. So illustrations are critical here, and it's actually the tables give the actual experimental results, and figures are used comparison of experimental results. It is important to ensure that no duplication of information, and the tables and the figures are self-explanatory. Then step 2, which entails writing the methods. The methods should be able to describe how the problem was studied in a reproducible, clear manner, so that if someone else picks up that paper and repeat that same method, the same result that was gotten would actually be gotten. So for step 3, writing up the result, it describes what has been found, only representative result from the research, and must be clearly presented with subheadings in a logical manner. Next slide, please. So moving on to step 4. Next slide, please.
Yeah, just a minute. This is
the 4th slide. So step 4 is talking about.
Are you seeing it?
No, so okay, yeah, I'm seeing it now. Thank you, sir. So writing the discussion, this is an art of contextualizing findings within previous research and theory, and it focuses on explaining and evaluating the results, showing how they relate to literature review research questions. And then step 5, writing a clear conclusion. And this describes how the work advances the field from the present state of knowledge. It gives clear scientific justification for the work, not a repeat of the abstract or result. Then the step 6, which entails writing a compelling introduction. The introduction should answer the following questions that has been highlighting here, which include problem to be solved, are there any existing solutions, which is best, main limitation, and what do we hope to achieve. Step 7 talks about writing the abstract, and like we have said multiple times here during the session, that it should be kept short, and we should be mindful of the guidelines provided by the author. Then step 8 talks about composing a concise and descriptive title. The title should be attractive, clear, and descriptive, void of jargons, and be able to explain the broad objective of the paper at a glance. Step 9, which is selecting keywords for indexing. Keywords must be used without any additional meaning, avoids repetition. Step 10 talks about write the acknowledgement, which ensure those who helped in the research but are not included as authors are recognized here. And the last but not the least step 11, writing up references. We talked about using software such as EndNote or Mendeley, citing all scientific publications on which your work is based, but do not overinflate the manuscript with too many references. Avoid excessive citations and excessive citations of publications for the same region. Balance your citations with citation of peer review research. Check the following: that's spelling, year of publication, uses of etal, punctuation, and whether all references are included. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Welcome. Yes, sir.
Group 3. Any question, any thoughts from anyone for group 3? I think these points are quite clear, and already they are in your fingertips. Elizabeth, you have something?
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Mine is just a small observation. And I think for the writings, we need to adhere to the guidelines to where we are writing.
Yeah, so you mean
right, your to the title should be certain number, depending on the guideline. Thank you.
All right, thanks. That's quite important. Please adhere to the guidelines of the journal you're writing to. Very important. All right.
Stated on the first slide, the second slide rather.
Okay, yeah, let me share my screen. This will be a quick one. The method section. We have the MRAD structure. So we have the introduction we have gone through now, and we have the methods. The M stands for methods. Well, the methods is relatively straightforward. Because it is a place where you describe what you have done. So the introduction introduces what you plan to do. And then the method section, we outline what you have done to address the research question you have posed. Okay, please remember to meet. The method section addresses the different procedures, different materials you have used in the study, different analysis you have performed, issues of ethics you have undergone, protocol you have developed, and so on and so forth. Somebody still has this thing on. Please mute yourself. All right. So, you have done this work. You have done it. And so you need to outline what you have done. But of course, you are not going to do this just blindly. There are ways, there are what you call reporting guidelines. I will introduce that later this week. Reporting guidelines that help you to follow a systematic way of presenting what you have done. It's as a guide as well. And those guidelines are important because many people report, but they report in a zigzag manner, going from here to there. So the guidelines help you to be concise and focus particular aspect that you need to report. So when you do the methods, you should remember to give appropriate details. If you are using human samples, if you are using technological instrument, if you are using different types of measurements, you're going to the lab, you are using animal samples, you're mixing chemicals, give appropriate details, follow the convention that is in that area you are working, and then describe it with the reader in mind. The reader should guide you. You should always ask the question, does this make sense? Is it understandable? Is it complicated? Is it simple? Is it clear enough? So it's quite important. Many times, some of the things you're doing may be complicated. You go to the field to collect data, or you go to a lab to collect data. It's easier when you can make documentation while you're doing the experiment or while you're carrying your study, because sometimes you forget certain things. So take your notes and make the notes of what you are doing and what you have done. In real time, that will help you, that even before you start putting the manuscript together, you have your methods written. You have your methods written already. And then you can just fine tune it at the manuscript writing stage, right? Yeah, this is this one is part of the presentation I made during the grant writing. It's maybe slightly different from what you have in the grant writing document, because certain things, when you are writing the grant, you have the reviewers and the funders in mind. But when you're writing the scientific paper, the audience is the scientific community, and so there are some variations, but more or less there are many things that are overlapping. The overview of the design you have used, the sample size, if the sample size have been calculated for that study, the inclusion and exclusion criteria you have used, recruitment and retention methods you have used, the procedures you have implemented, the materials you have collected, description of the human subject across different characteristics, males, age, place of residence, or things like that. The intervention, the control group, and so on and so forth. Statistical analysis you have performed. So these things need to be described quite clearly. And now you are doing your project. So the methods and materials section of the paper, you have to indicate that this data we have used has been obtained from the World Bank data repository. Then you give the link to that. So you give the link to that so that the one who is reading it, we understand that. And you describe what the data contained. You describe how the data was managed, how many people, how many countries are there, and then you go to the point of how you have implemented the analysis or cleaned the data, and so on and so forth. Anything? Any question? That is more or less what we have in the methods section, unless you have something to ask. I just want to show you from what we have done today, and I'll show you the methods section, just to give you an example of some of my previous works here. Perhaps I will find a way to send them to this a study I did. This was which year? Yeah, last year. This was published last year. Please. Oof. Who is that? Goodness me. Temitope, can you mute yourself? Oshoba Miro. Temitope, can you mute yourself? Good, thanks. All right. So one of my interests in my area of study is to look at sex differences in asthma, because we have a very interesting phenomenon in asthma. And at least you can see it from my introduction here. You can see it here. So this is my introduction. So 2-paragraph introduction, okay? And my introduction starts this way. Asthma is more common in boys than in girls until puberty, after which the risk for developing new onset asthma and having more severe disease is higher in women. Okay. Female sex hormones are thought to largely explain these sex-related differences. Each hormonal-related event in the female reproductive life course, and that includes menarche, menstruation, pregnancy, and menopause, has been shown to be associated with variations in clinical outcomes of asthma. So that is my baby, my research baby, to understand why boys having more asthma during childhood before puberty, and then the tide changes, becomes more unfavorable for women than men. And then from the time of puberty, it changes, that women become more severe than men. So it's a very interesting phenomenon, and that is what my research intends to do. And you can see the funnel there. So in this paragraph, I give the big picture, and then what is known, and what is not known start from here. Okay. Despite intense investigation over the last 40 years, the role of sex steroids in asthma in women remains unclear. And then it goes there, and then highlighting the need that is there, and my question here. Okay. So this is not a long one, this is a short one, and glad to the point. And now the methods part. The methods part. I usually prefer to start with the ethics, so that it's clear that the ethics approval of the study was obtained. So we have not violated anyone's right, any subject's right. Then the protocol was registered for the study design, ascertainment and definition of hormonal contraceptive use, statistical analysis, outcomes, potential confounders. And so reporting, that is the methods that we use for this project. Sorry, let me share another one. This is also in another journal. Yeah, so overuse of short-acting beta agonists in asthma. So we call it SABA, short-acting beta agonist. This is, we call it a reliever medication. So it's a kind of emergency medication that people take to relieve them from asthma symptoms, breathlessness. Okay, but we have another medication that we call maintenance medication, because the process of asthma involves inflammation of respiratory tract, and so this inflammation that happens there needs to be maintained so that it doesn't increase, because when it increases, then it means that the person begins to have problem with regards to breathing, and can cause other problems, So you have the maintenance therapy, which you use to people take on a daily basis to control their asthma. So this short-acting beta agonist is only for emergency. If you are using your maintenance therapy as prescribed, then the likelihood of having asthma exacerbation is really minimized, okay? And your asthma will be well controlled. But many people don't take their medications as prescribed, and so they end up using this emergency one always, because if you don't use the maintenance one, you'll be having episodes of e-health. So what we did here was to see whether this medication is amongst those who have asthma is a risk factor for more exacerbation and mortality. And the answer is yes. We found that it was actually associated with increased exacerbation and more, higher risk of mortality. And so this is the introduction. You can see the introduction here and the study methods also in this way that we have written it. All right, so the methods part or section is straightforward. You report what was done. And usually when you write the methods part, you use the past tense. We did this, we did that, and so on and so forth. Use the past tense, not the present tense. Okay, anything from anyone? Any question? Yes, Hamidu, please.
Okay, thank you, Prof. My question is in the area of ethics and protocol.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in case of somebody making a studies, for example, we in the humanities, where do we write for the ethics board, and where do we get the protocol posted?
Yeah, as I said, the traditions and the conventions vary from place to place. That is one. The second thing is that some fields are slower than the others. Some fields are faster than the others. The medical fields, which I belong, are most times ahead. And the reason is that it's quite easy to abuse the processes, you know. So recommendations are always coming forward. Sometimes the technical fields, engineering, computer science, and basic science, natural sciences are also fast. So there is always a huge amount of development in terms of recommendations of what to do in this aspect. So we have a lot of standby recommendations and structures of how to do that. In the humanities, I'm not sure how much everything is organized in that way, because humanities entails so much of independence as well. But you have to check to see if there are reporting guidelines from the humanities. I think there should be, but you have to find out where it is. But if not, you know, things can be improved just by effort of a few people. Something you can begin to take forward. And I will encourage you to come to that course, reproducibility in scientific research, because it brings lots of ingredients that are applicable to all fields, so that you can also investigate how you can improve the practice and tradition in your field. Check out in your area to see if there are reporting guidelines. If there are none, then you can really imitate what is happening in other fields. But the protocol is a document which you develop a priori before the study is conducted, and that outlines what the study will be based on, what you'll be doing, and so on and so forth. And this is something that every field requires. Then the issue of ethics. Of course, ethics is very important, and I think every field, as far as you have a human subject and you have maybe animal subject and things like that, you require ethics to ensure that you have approval to do what you're doing, because the ethics committee will evaluate whether what you're doing is ethical enough to be granted opportunity for you to do that. Okay, Hamid, do you want to continue on that?
I just want to ask a quick rider. What of the issue of clash of interest? Is it connected with
conflict of interest?
Yes, conflict of interest. Is it connected with ethics or not?
Well, it's part of it, in the sense that if you have conflict of interest and then you get your results. If it's human beings, then it's going to affect them in the negative way. So it falls into that. But we'll be treating part of conflict of interest this week, and I hope it to be clear. But the conflict of interest is actually when you put yourself in a position that will influence your objectivity, okay? And many times that is interpreted in terms of monetary inducement, or you belonging, for instance, to, let's say you are doing a research and then you are being paid by a company that has interest in the research you're doing. So you have to outline how that relationship has been, and if it has been in a situation where it influences what you do in the research to favor the company, to favor the interpretation and reporting of your results. So you need to put yourself in a situation not to be in that position. So you have to exclude yourself. Okay, you have to exclude yourself, because if you put yourself in a situation that inhibits your objectivity, then it has implication for human beings as well, and for the field. Okay, but we'll come back to that. All right, Luca.
Yeah, my question is from the first article of yours, or paper you showed us regarding the introduction, which has 2 paragraphs, I think so. In the paper, whereby sometimes they give you minimum of the number of pages. And here I know we're talking about quality against quantity. So in such situation, how can one handle it?
Of course, there is nothing not to handle. I was describing yesterday. You write a paper, and what the journal accept is 3,500 words, and they come back to you and say, no, we can't accept this. Please reduce it to 800 words. Yeah, that is why you're attending this course. It's short. It's simple.
You know, in a situation whereby they want it even later, because they would say your probably your introduction, just 1 page or something like that, and this
so
or something like that.
No, I don't think they can say that unless you don't have the necessary information. Of course, unless you don't have the necessary information. So you don't go there and fill in your this thing by dribbling like Maradona, putting so much things. No. Just go straight to the point. I've not encountered in a situation where they say it is short with regards to the length. I think they will say short with regards to the content. There are certain things that has not been included in the content. So if that is a problem, then add the necessary content. But if you have everything in there, I don't see any journal that will come and complain. Actually, it is to their own advantage, because people subscribe to these journals, and and people many times pay to publish, and then so if they are able to include more papers into a particular issue, I think it's good for them too. So normally, I don't think they will tell you, oh, your paper is too short for us. No.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Yeah. Okay, if there is nothing more, I will send you again back to, no. That is the group 4 nugget before we leave, please. Group 4 nugget 1. Is group 4 here?
Yes, group 4 is here.
Please go.
Good afternoon, Prof.
Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. I don't know if, let me see if I can share.
Yes, please.
Okay. Is my screen shared already? Can you see it?
No. We're seeing your folder.
Okay. How do I?
I mean, if it's already sharing from your end, if you can stop sharing.
It's showing from my end, sir.
Is it sharing?
Yeah, it's wrote you are sharing, you are screen sharing.
Yeah, it's not. We are not seeing it. So just close it. If you can do like group 3, send it to the if you can send it to the chat box there, I can share it for you from here.
Okay. Okay.
Just do that quickly.
Okay, sir.
So stop sharing.
Okay. If I'm sending, how do I send it, sir?
Okay. So now what you do is not to make complete. Open the file without sharing. Just open the file.
It's open already.
Yeah, let it be what is on your screen. Now bring up your Zoom and start sharing again now.
Okay, sir.
Share screen. Share screen. It will when you click share screen, you will see that PowerPoint presentation. You just click it and.
Okay, sir. Is that okay?
Yeah. So click that cup so that it's on presentation mode. No? On the right side. Yeah, that's one. Great. Yes, so go ahead.
This is the document for group 4. I'm Jonathan Bege by name. Actually, we're given a document to look at, and this is the title of the document. Basically, our work is to set the scene. Can you hear me?
Hear you.
Yeah. Basically, our job was to set the scene, meaning we are to write a good introduction. That's what our job description is all about. And after going through the materials, we understood that there are 2 ways in how to put down your introduction. The first one is the conf shape, or you can use the second approach, which is the funnel shape. The one showing now is the funnel shape. And what that means is that, first of all, you start with the background, and the background is all about information that is known to everyone based on your literature search. And then the next is to identify the gap that based on your literature site, and then hypothesis, questions, purpose statement, and then finally approach, plan of attack, and proposed solution. So you are starting from known down to the unknown. That is the funnel shape format. While the con shape format has to do with starting from the unknown down to the known. So you are starting from where there is little or no information to where you have most information. That's how to approach the 2 formats. However, the scope of our own document was to use the funnel shape format, and we will be going straight to that. From the materials, there was an exercise given to us, and in the exercise, we have these statements scattered all around. So we have to rearrange it so that it can look like the funnel shape format. And
be quick, you have 1 minute more. 1 minute more.
Okay. This is work that has to do with the issue of kidney or renal insufficiency. In renal insufficiency, there is a way to assess it. And in assessing it, we use iohexol to determine the rate of filtration, which gives us information about the kidney. And this iohexol, there are methods that have been published on how to use it. And most publishers use LC chromatography or UV detection method. And this method has been found to take longer time and more sample. However, a recent introduced technique, which is the ultra performance liquid chromatography, allows for rapid chromatography and faster gradient. So this work combines these 2 methods to see what happened. In combining these 2 techniques, they are able to develop a UPLC mass spectroscopy assay to determine this iohexol in the blood sample of patients that are suffering from renal issues. That's the approach that we use. So the knowledge gap we have is that the first method is long,
okay,
and consume more sample, while the approach was the combination of those two methods, and that shortened the time and then the number of the quantity of sample that needed to be used.
Okay, thank you very much, Group 4. Thank you very much. I think this is what we have. Yeah, please, you can stop sharing. Gone through during the day. Yeah, I know 3 minutes is not an easy time. When I used to work at the University of Edinburgh in Scotland, and so they have this university-wide competition for PhD students who are defending their thesis. They call it 3-minute thesis challenge. 3 minutes. So you have people who come and they have this bulky document of their thesis in 3 minutes. They explain the entire document for people to understand. Come on, big challenge, and the winners, it becomes a national competition. So, and I've just given you how many pages paper? I know it's not easy. Yeah, but it's a skill that is good to learn, to see how you can improve your presentation skills and present it in a succinct, short manner, and people will get the whole information. Okay, I will send it to your groups now, and you work from here until whenever you want to. Just go on and continue to work. I was astonished that some of you preferred to be there without going to your lunch. It's good. It's good sign. It's good sign. Somebody said this morning, I was watching you, so it means that this is getting in. Now I will send it to your groups, but before I do that, I want to know: is there anyone who has any question with regards to your group project, what you're supposed to do? Is there any challenge, any question, please? The floor is yours now. Yeah, Amidu, please. Amidu, you're muted.
Yes, thank you very much, Prof. My question is, are we supposed to read other literatures in order to do the assignment, or we are just supposed to do the work
Of course, you have to read other literatures, Hamidu, of course. So you have a writing assignment. This is writing. You're writing it. Write it to the extent that once you finish this week, it's ready for submission to a journal for publication. I'm not saying you should submit it, but that is a standard. So yes, investigate other literature and put everything together. Yeah, Jonathan?
Yes, our topic, we find it difficult to get materials, seriously. I don't know if...
I mean, if you find it difficult to get materials, then it's even an easy one. So what is you found what you have found. How do you compare to others? You tell people, do you know that this is the first study on this topic?
Okay.
And so we need more studies, but this is what we have found. And you interpret what you have found. That is assuming that you don't have previous studies on the topic. But even if you have few studies, you can still make a statement that the evidence is limited. Evidence is limited. Okay.
I also recognize the literature at the references too old.
That is another one there too. Of course, that is a justification that the studies are old, they're outdated. They don't give us the clear impression of the contemporary situation. I mean, you have many justifications, Jonathan, really too.
Thank you, sir.
You get the point?
Yes.
Great. Okay, any other question?
Yes, Prof. most of the group members, they, the topic is more or less towards art, and then most of the group members, they are all science-based, medical-based. So
most of your group members?
Yes.
They are?
And they are, science-based or biological-based, researchers. But
your
the
group
topic
members?
is more, the topic is more of, art.
I don't buy those excuses. Is that Christina?
On R&D.
Yeah. I don't buy those. You see, for me, and I was explaining this yesterday, is there anyone in your group who is having that problem? Who is having the problem? What is the problem they're having there? Is it that they can't understand R&D? This is what we face every day. And the thing is that I want you to come out of your cocoons, come out of it, know that you are in the society and what happens in the society concerns you. Don't focus your eyes as well, that doesn't concern, it concerns you. Okay, so let's open up here. Let's open up here. And I think we can learn, things from every field. Okay, so please do your best, Christina, and I'm looking forward to Friday when you will tell me from your group, I'm a medical doctor, but now I am an expert in R&D. That'll be a good story. That'll be a good story. Okay. All right, let's go. Let's go. If there is nothing more to look at here.